podcast ever, isn't it?
No.
No, it's not?
Mm-mm.
You've done a podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? Tell me about your first podcast experience. It's fine. Go ahead.
I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of them. They're a bunch of they're a group of guys that went to my school.
Okay.
And we met them in Orlando. We got in touch with them when we were doing the web series on set.
Okay. Is this Full Sail?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's just a couple guys that just said, hey, we want to get you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Just you or friends?
No, we had all of them. Like, all of us. Well, it was mainly for, like, the creator, writer, producer, try to get them to talk about the web series and then kind of shine a light on what it's like to do a web series in 10 days.
Wow. So, okay, so you've been here before. Like, I felt like we've had talks before about you coming on, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know, this is your first one, or I thought it was your first one, so I thought maybe you're going to be, like, extra, like, nervous to do it, but now I know that you've been here before, so, like, what the hell? Like, why are we so nervous?
Well, that's how I knew not to put my elbows on the table.
You can put them on the table. That's fine. Sometimes I do. Sometimes you'll notice as we do this, and people can't see this, I just have to describe, but like sometimes I just kind of like readjust. That's the big guy still in me. I just readjust and.
But you're a pro. You know which arm to do it with, and like you just switch it up real nicely and very what's the word? Like Rico Suave over here.
Rico Suave?
Like, I can't think of the word.
Okay.
What's the
smooth?
word? Like, smoothly.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no, I'm going to fail at this really bad.
You will if you hold that mic so far away. You really will.
Okay.
Okay. No, I had a purpose for having you on. I've known you now for 7 going on 8 years. Actually, no, maybe 8 going on 9. I feel like 09 we met.
Yeah.
09.
I was a senior in high school, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are my cousin, for people that are wondering. My cousin Jade is on here. Look, cousin-in-law, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I don't do all that shit. Like, I just say, like, you're my cousin. If I'm not your cousin, if I'm like your cousin-in-law, I don't care what you think about me. Like, to me, you're just like my cousin. Like, that's how I look at it. I had this talk with my other cousin who was on the show last week. And he's like my 4th or 5th or 6th cousin or something. And I was like, you're just my cousin. Like, let's just not complicate it, right? I mean.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd consider you my cousin.
Fair enough. Okay, good.
I say cousin-in-law because I think it's funny.
That's fine.
But it's also kind of cool because my cousin's married.
Yeah. No, that's great. But I had a purpose for having you on because I've known you this long, and you've been on kind of this journey. I talk a lot about my own journey here on this podcast, and I talk with others about their journeys, primarily weight loss journeys, but you're on a journey of your own. You went from Waldorf to Los Angeles, which I think is quite interesting. I think a lot of people will find it interesting, your kind of journey from point A to point B, and you're still on this journey. So I thought that it would be great to sit you down and pick your brain about what that's all about.
Okay.
You're in LA, you're working in the What do you call it? You call it the movie business, the entertainment business? Like, what would you call it? How would you classify the business that you are in?
I guess film and television.
Film and television. Okay.
Is it still too far away?
Now when you do it just like that, that's perfect.
Okay. I get scared because if you make me laugh, I have like a very screeching laugh, and
you
I feel
do.
like it's going to like destroy
I can always kill it though, like real fast. I have this knob.
You gotta
and
be ready for it.
Okay, I'll be ready for it. So you're in the film and television business. Is this something that you've always had in the back of your mind? Like when you're little Jade, I don't know, 3, 5 years old, whatever it is this always on your mind, or is this something that came later in life for you?
I think I remember when I was like younger, I was always like, oh, I want to be an artist. And I think maybe because my aunt, my dad's sister, was an artist. So right. I think like she was.
And when you say artist, are you talking like painting and shit? Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
painting. And I always watched her do it. So I was like, and I was never interested in math or science or history.
That stuff's boring, right?
It's really boring. Yeah. It's just not for me. Like, my brain doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not very, I'm not very technological.
Technological?
Techie. I'm not a techie person at all.
You can work your way around the phone pretty well.
I can work my way around a phone.
Although most people can these days, I guess.
Yeah, well, the iPhone's so dummy proof.
Yeah.
Which is what I have. Give me a Droid.
Team iPhone all the way.
I guess.
Their nerds are sitting there somewhere listening and like getting mad.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys.
That's fine.
But I've always liked art, and English. So it went between like that and then like, I guess being young and silly was like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Because that's what every kid goes through.
Doctor, firefighter,
Yes.
Policeman, all these things, right?
Yeah, I went through that phase.
Yes.
And then I kept going back to like artist, and I was never like, I never really paid a lot of attention in school.
Right.
Like I would always be like drawing in my books, or I was always taking notes though, but yes. I don't know if it was always like I don't know if it was always like
your mind, in other words, was off being creative.
Yeah. And then I guess that same aunt that was an artist, when she went off to college, we're exactly 10 years apart.
Yes.
So whenever she went off to college, I was like, oh, what is this?
Right.
I didn't really know if that was an option for me or not. But I like kind of kicked myself into gear like probably like 6th grade.
Okay.
And like started actually really paying attention and like doing school projects and doing that kind of stuff. And high school comes around, and
were you a good student?
I was a really good student because I took notes and I did my homework.
Yes.
I was never good at tests. I was never good at like if you asked me like a question right on the spot, I'd have to like go back and look at my notes or that kind of stuff. But I like, and again, like I would read the textbook pages and all that stuff that they give you, and it wouldn't click, like it wouldn't stick. But if we were having like just a basic conversation, I could remember. But if I was ever asked like on the spot on a test, I failed.
Yeah.
But once high school came around, I took I was in all honors classes, and my English teacher, her name was Miss Abel. She was like everything to me in school. I think I realized it a lot more now that I'm older.
Yeah.
But
we always kind of go through that, right? It's like a reflection. Like when we're going through it, maybe we don't see it, or maybe we have thoughts of it, but we're just like whatever. Yeah. And then you think back. Like I mean, I'm probably, God, what year were you born?
92.
Okay, I'm exactly 10 years older.
Oh, you're my.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Damn, Gary, I didn't realize you were so old.
I know I'm old. The thing though is that I think back, and like now I can think back at things and I'm like, geez, yeah, I have a lot more reflection now at 35. So I get what you're saying, but go ahead. Sorry.
So she reached out to me at the end of like freshman year and was like, hey, I'm taking over the newspaper class. Is this something that would interest you? I think you're pretty good, kid.
Sure.
And I was like, no, because I think at that point I wanted to be like an FBI,
FBI.
Work in the FBI.
It's pretty ambitious.
Yeah, right. And so I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this could help me with like interrogation or something,
right.
Like know how to like ask the right questions and that kind of stuff. And as soon as I stepped foot in that class, was like journalism like became my life.
Wow.
Like that was like the only thing that like I was excited to go to that class. I was excited to go ask people questions about themselves and learn about them and make stories out of it, like that put them in a good light, like telling other people's stories like how you do.
Sure.
That really excited me.
Yeah.
And so
it's like music for me. When I was in high school, that was the one thing that I cling to, is probably the only class besides maybe sports and entertainment marketing that I enjoyed going to.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good. Like, especially it makes such a world of a difference when you have a teacher too, that like you actually want to see,
Yeah.
like during school, like where you're excited, like they're invested in you, and you know you want to make them proud. And
Yep.
and I think that's the same year I started taking my multimedia class. So I was kind of learning how to write for newsprint, and then I was learning how to make movies and stuff.
Right.
And I think also, like, I was that kid growing up that, like, I think I kind of skipped over this, I guess, in my life timeline. Your wife's husband, John, my Uncle John.
My wife's husband?
I mean,
Father. Okay.
Sorry.
That would be really weird.
Wife's father.
Okay.
John, my uncle.
Yes.
He always had like a camera at like every single event.
This is what I hear.
Yeah.
I'm hearing this more and more, yes.
Oh my God. It was everywhere. It was in your face. Like if you were being a brat, you were being recorded. If you were opening up presents and getting excited, there was a camera there. Every single time we were over at their house, he always had this damn camera out.
Yeah.
And I remember like we were always in front of the camera, all the kids, like all my cousins, Holly, Eric, Robert, Heather, for all of like the holidays and stuff.
Yes.
And I think it got to a point, maybe I was, I'm trying to think. I was young, but I remember like I kept asking him if I could play with the camera.
Okay.
And he would be like, no. And then like one day, he's like, because he'd always be like, this camera's so expensive. Because in the 90s, you know.
The big,
Yes.
gigantic camera.
And it like recorded to tape or whatever.
Yeah. Do you remember if this is the one with the big tapes or the little ones?
The little
ones.
The little ones, I
Okay.
think. We got the so one day he actually let me.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think in like all of like 15 years, I don't think my Uncle John was ever in front of the camera. He was always the voice behind it.
Yes.
And then finally I started taking it and I'm in his face and he's,
okay.
you know, whatever. I actually even wrote my my essay into college about that experience. Was you know, that
so coming across this camera, this was big for you.
Yeah, because
you
was
had like
exciting.
a breakthrough moment.
Yeah, I always like, you know, even on like my dad's side growing up, I think like I was always more of like a storyteller as opposed to like I was telling you, like I didn't like math, but I like to tell stories and talk about people and stuff and events. And when I was little, like maybe 4 or 5, no, probably like I was probably 10. Whenever I'd go over to my dad's parents' house, I had 2 little cousins. So on my mom's side, I'm the youngest, and then on my dad's side, I'm the oldest. And we would always like go upstairs and I'd come up with like little skits and stuff, and we'd like perform them for like the adults and stuff. I'd be like, come on,
yeah.
and get everyone around. So I guess like that's always been like my childhood and stuff. But once I got into high school, like, you know, I was learning how to like write, and then I was learning how to actually operate cameras the right way. I had a camcorder myself. Like I told my parents, I think in middle school, I told them, I was like, all I want for my birthday, Christmas, Easter is just a camcorder.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I wanted. I had that thing forever.
So really, I mean, to kind of sum it all up at this moment, it sounds like to me, so between the artist in you, the newspaper writer in you, the camcorder lover in you, I mean, you really have all the tools for storytelling. Mm-hmm. Painting the picture, expressing the picture through words, and then showing the pic. I mean, it's all kind of right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now, whether they were good or not, that's a whole different story, but
well,
I was doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I do this podcast. I don't know how good it is, but it's okay. I mean, I guess I'll let the people decide. Or just like music, you know, I would write songs and, you know, I don't know if they're any good. Mm-hmm. You know, people will decide. But no, I mean, that's huge. I mean, you're kind of laying it out, and I don't even know if like you're consciously knowing this, but like it's like you have like all these tools here that are laid out that are kind of setting the groundwork for what you're doing right now or wanting to do, really.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I couldn't picture if I was working like in the medical field or if in any other field. I could not go to work every single day and actually be happy.
Yeah.
And like one thing that I was always told growing up was, you know, you pick something that you can do without getting paid.
Yeah.
And go that route and create a career for yourself doing that.
Sure.
So journalism at that point was kind of like newsprint was kind of dying.
Yeah.
And they were going into like, I like broadcast, but it wasn't like, I don't know if it was like 100% for me.
Okay.
I did the morning announcements in high school like a nerd.
Yeah.
I was in the newspaper. I became like the editor-in-chief. Like,
well, because you've also got a personality on you too, and I know you're a little nervous here, but like if people like were actually out and they knew you, I mean, you definitely have a personality too.
Yeah, the tables are switched.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever have any aspirations to be in front of the camera? Or is it always behind?
Okay. So here's a story that I don't think a lot of people know. I did for like a while want to be an actress.
Okay.
My biological father, his name is Cliff.
Okay.
When his dad was on his deathbed, he had like really bad lung cancer.
Yeah. And
we went to go see him, and I didn't know that my dad was going to be there, because I had a relationship with my grandfather, right. Growing up. Like he always like, you know, sent Christmas presents and all that stuff, and like, you know, every other Christmas or so, and my mom would take me over to see him and all that stuff. But when he was on his deathbed, super long story short, my biological father was like, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I was like, "Oh, I want to be an actress." Sure. And he was like, "Well, why don't you do something? I know my dad would really like to see you, you know, do a skit or something." Yeah. And I froze. I was like, "No, I can't do that. I can't do that." And it wasn't like the diva or anything. I mean, it was like I was petrified. I was like, "No." Sure. And there was like this one time, like, I don't know why, I think I'm a lot better being taped as opposed to like live. Like
kind of like we're doing right here.
Yeah, because like if I can't see the audience, I'm fine. And then like there was this one time where I was hosting like this Christmas musical like for the band in high school. Yeah. And like I created this like character called Mama McDonough, and because I went to McDonough High School. Right. And my media teacher was like, "Jade, I'd love for you to host the big Christmas thing. It's in front of the entire school." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I can do that."
Yeah, why not?
I do the announcements every day. We make skits every day. Like, I can do that. So I get up there, and it's me dressed in like this full like, you know, like costume, and the Ram, which is our mascot, and I froze. Oh my god, I like got annihilated.
Wow.
Like it was like so bad where like I could actually pick my friends out because I was like staring into the audience.
Yes.
And then I couldn't breathe. I could feel my heart pounding. And I was like, I don't think this is for me. But like whenever we would like record stuff and all that stuff, like record like videos and all that for like the announcements and like little promos and stuff, I was fine. I was always like a goofball. Yeah, I was a like class clown growing up. Yeah. And then oh no, that was bad. That was definitely like the realization where it was like, "Oh girl, maybe you should just be holding the camera where no one can see you." I feel a lot more comfortable there, I think.
Sure.
Too.
So at that point, do you kind of just decide, all right, like now I'm good? Like, do you have a conversation with your own self? It's like, all right, how do I make this a reality? Like, do you have the thought where you're like, all right, how do I do what I need to do to get there?
Yeah. I mean, I've worked a lot of gigs for free.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of free work, and a lot of work that like in certain departments where I don't necessarily want to work there. Yeah. But I know I can do it, and I know that they need it. And
sure.
So
it's more experience to the resume.
Yeah. And I think a good leader, personally, should know all aspects of each department. Just like Tarantino, I know he wanted to be an actor.
Right.
And did a whole bunch of acting classes and did all that kind of stuff. And I think maybe someone told Quentin Tarantino, "Hey, buddy, I don't think acting's for you." I think that's what happened.
Right.
I'm sure there's some film nerds out there that'll check me, but
there's always people in every field that'll check for something.
But
They'll fact check you.
I do think that that's what happened because he makes a cameo in all of his movies.
Sure does.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what happened. Like, I think he went.
He still wanted to be involved, some aspect.
Yeah.
What? How do you get to like Full Sail and all that? Because I mean, that's kind of like. Is that like? I mean, I know it's like one of the more well-known places if you want to work in this industry business. Is that like the number one place people kind of gravitate to, or are there like a top 3 or 5 of where people want to go to do that kind of stuff?
It depends on who you're asking.
Okay.
Because I think like a Full Sail film student will say, "Oh, this is the best."
Sure.
But then you go like, I think there's a school in Ohio that's really good, or Wisconsin.
Because I've only ever heard Full Sail. Like I hear it rather
because you grew
when
up
I knew
around
you were
me.
going there. Well, yeah, but I mean, I've also heard it, pop up.
Yeah.
I mean, like they did wrestling there. They still do wrestling there.
Yeah, and the students are the ones that operate everything.
Exactly.
Which is amazing. Like, I don't think...
And it looks great, by the way. I mean, I watch it every week. It looks great.
I don't think other film... Okay. I think it... Okay. Hold on. Let me just backtrack.
Sure.
To answer your question, I think on that kind of scale where you have students physically operating cameras, physically doing makeup for wrestlers, and instructors also, that your teachers are physically working on your platform at your university.
Yep.
And using your stages. I think on that kind of scale, Full Sail is right up there. Like, I don't think... I could not name you personally. I could not name any other universities that do something on that kind of scale.
We'll wait for the fact checkers to come in.
I know. Just come on, check me. It's okay. Just leave them in the comments, I guess. This lady has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah. Well, you can always... I always preface everything like, I can only speak for me.
Yeah, no, and that's...
how I always say it.
That's exactly where I'm coming from, because I currently work with... with 2 guys that went to a film school in Southern California, in LA, and that's really actually known as to be one of the best film schools.
Which one is that?
I don't freaking know. They always talk about it, and I'm not going to promote their school. I'm going to promote my school.
Now, because we can only speak for you, was it always Full Sail for you? Like when you're like thinking things out, was that always the one that kind of was at the top of your mind?
Gary, I never thought I was going to go to college.
Okay, all right.
I never thought that was ever a possibility for me.
Right.
So when I went to school, I got denied state schools.
Sure.
I had the grades. It was my SAT scores.
Okay.
The freaking testing that that I told you I suck at.
Yes.
I had a 3.68 GPA. I was in all AP and honors classes. I played field hockey, I played lacrosse, I played softball, I was the captain of the teams, not softball, I got kicked off of that, but it was, I was in media, I was in so that's considered theater, and I was the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, so I had a pretty great resume coming out of high school. And I got denied a lot of the state schools because my test scores weren't that great.
Right.
So I applied to a private school in North Carolina called Catawba.
Okay.
Which...
are they known for this kind of industry, or is this just something that I want to go to a school, this is where I can go? Okay.
So I was told that they had a really great film program.
Okay.
I didn't do my homework because I was 17 years old. And, their college wasn't really a thing on my family.
Yeah.
I think more so on my dad's side. But, they went to college and all that. But my mom's side, my mom didn't know really how to help me when it came to college stuff. So, I check out Catawba. I like the campus. And I was like, okay, this is school for me. I got accepted there.
Right.
And, I get there, it's a liberal arts school. It's a private liberal arts school, non-denominational. And I take my first film class.
Right.
And it's film history. And I was like, okay, well, once the next semester comes, maybe we'll get our hands on some equipment. So I asked my instructor, oh, what are these classes like? What happens in these classes? And they're like, oh, it's just more lecture. based classes. And I was like,
you're looking for the hands-on.
yeah, I wanted to get my hands dirty. I wanted
Sure.
to like get my hands on a camera. I wanted to set up some lights. And I was like, oh, well, when do we actually like get equipment? Oh, we don't have equipment. Huh?
They have nothing.
It was actually an amazing theater school.
Okay.
And I guess whenever I was looking for a film school, my career advisor and high school was like, oh, Catawba's really good. Catawba's really good, thinking that film and theater are the same thing, I guess. I don't know. But so I went there for a year and then came back home, and I didn't like reapply. Like I didn't want to go back there.
Right.
And
you weren't getting what you needed.
No, and I didn't want to waste any more time at a school that wasn't physically doing anything for me. So I had actually reached out to Full Sail before I went to Catawba just to get information. Because I heard about it. It's a really new school. Like it's only 30 years old. Yeah. So when they had called me prior to me going to Catawba, they're like, it's strictly like it's a 2.5 year program or something. You go all year round. Yep. And I was like, oh, is there a football team? No.
The Full Sail film strips or something. I don't know. That's a really bad joke. Sorry.
And I was like, is there like home ec there? Like, is there a culinary? Like, because I like to cook. And I was like, oh, maybe I wanted to get into cooking or something if I changed my mind that this wasn't going to work out for me. No.
It's literally all film stuff.
It's all film. It's all music. It's all like theater production. Like it's strictly an entertainment school. And so I said, well, screw that. I'm 17 years old and I'm not going to, who really actually works on movie sets and stuff? Like, I'm not going to sell myself short.
Yeah, Jade, who works on movie sets?
I know. Like, that's what I was like.
2020.
That's what was going through my head. Like, I was like, what happens if I change my mind? Like, am I really going to be able to make a living off of this? Yeah. And like, I had no connections on the inside. I knew no one. I didn't even know. I had no idea that there was a whole lighting department or a whole sound department. I was so naive and so like had no idea what it really takes to make that a movie happen or a TV show happen. So I wasted $30,000 going to a liberal arts school, or it was probably more like, I think after grants and scholarships, probably like $16,000. Right. But so then after that, I was like, well, screw this. Like, I actually really do want to work in film, and I am gonna make this happen. So I transferred over to Full Sail. I got accepted. I wrote my essay about your wife's father. Right. About the camera. I wrote my essay about that and growing up and always wanting to do that, and then I moved down to Florida. Yeah, that's not a bad place to be, right? Beats the shit out of Waldorf, huh? Oh man, yes it does. You put me in a dumpster. Better than Waldorf. For me, at least. For me. I don't know. Ask Good Charlotte. They seem to brag a lot about Waldorf. Hold on a second. They're actually from La Plata, Maryland. Oh, okay, they're not even from Waldorf. Fuckers. Can somebody check that, please? Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure they're from La Plata. I know they went to La Plata High School. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't care enough about Good Charlotte to investigate, but actually, what's funny about that? The apartment that I currently live in, 1 block away, like just 1 block over, is where one of the Madden brothers used to live. No kidding. Which is weird, huh? That is weird. There was this lady, I was walking my dog, and there was this lady with like this old lab, and my dog's probably not the best towards bigger dogs. She loves little dogs. Right. So I was like very hesitant about, like, I went to go around. She's like, oh no, he's really friendly. He's really friendly. He's like just old. He can't see anything. Yeah. And I was like, well, it's not really your dog I'm worried about. And like Stash, who's my dog, like went over and like was like wagging her tail real hard and went over and smelled him, and they did the whole butt thing. And the lady was like, she was like, oh, well, have you heard of that band Good Charlotte? Like, her and I started talking. She's like, have you heard of that band Good Charlotte? This is like one of the Madden brothers' dogs. Oh, I forgot which one she said it was, but she's like, yeah, we used to be neighbors just right up there. And I was like, right up there? Where the big house is? Yeah. But yeah, I thought that's pretty funny. And you're talking about in L.A.? Mm-hmm, in Burbank. Wow.
Okay.
Which is
Cool.
technically Los Angeles.
Yeah. We will get there. Talk to me a little bit more about Full Sail. I mean, so you were there for, you said 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about kind of like what you got out of it. I mean, what did you, maybe it's kind of hard to put all that up in a sentence or two, but I mean, give me kind of like the rundown of what you got out of your time there, how it sets you up for where we're getting ready to go.
Well, Full Sail is definitely a school that you get out what you put into it. Like that, I couldn't stress that more. If anyone was ever interested in going to that school,
Right.
do not go there if you just want a college education in film. Don't go there. It's too damn expensive.
Yeah.
You need to go there. You go to school literally Monday through Sunday.
Okay.
You know, and each month is a new class. So it's fast paced.
Right.
And you're doing 2 classes a month.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how they did it until like you get towards your final classes, I think. God, that's been graduated in 2013. Oh my God, I'm getting old.
You're getting old. You're telling me, buddy.
So your first month, like you do your gen ed credits, but it's not a lot though. Like, of course, none of my gen ed credits from Catawba transferred over because I didn't do so well over there because I was partying and stuff. And I mean, I was doing okay, but I had like a 2.0 GPA, which is terrible.
Hey, you made it farther than I did. I never made it to college, so you're a step ahead of me.
I mean, but at the end of the day, okay, here's another thing. You do not need to go to college to do what I do for a living.
Okay.
You just need to be aggressive, like in a good way. Like you need to be like passionate. You need to want to learn. You need to be respectful to people of all departments and be decent to be around because at the end of the day, a normal workday is 12 hours.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have someone work for me that knows absolutely nothing about the industry or the department or anything, but is decent to be around for 12 hours.
Sure.
You know, for 5 days a week, you know?
Yeah.
So, you don't need to go to college.
Are these things that you learned while you were there, or is this stuff that you're learning now as you're kind of going through it? Or
I think once I got a real job, I learned that I didn't. It depends. I think it depends on the person because I would not have known what I know now had I not gone to Full Sail. Right. Like I can run a camera, I can run sound equipment, I can do a full face of makeup, I can do prosthetics, I can do, I can manage, I can do all these things in any department that is on a film set.
So you could run a whole movie essentially.
With the knowledge that I got from that school.
Holy shit, high five on that. Boom. I love it.
But again, when I went, I told you, like, I didn't know that there was anyone besides the camera department on.
Sure.
Like, I had no idea. I just had absolutely no idea. And it's weird because I was in media class, so I knew that there was lights. Like, I thought it was just like a small group of people just pushing a button or something. I don't know. It's just,
who knows?
I don't get how I didn't understand that.
You never watched any credits for any movies, right? Where they like scroll hundreds of names.
I know. What a stupid idiot I was. I don't know. Like I never did until I know, I don't know, but I knew there's a lot of freaking.
You probably watch a lot of movies on TV then where they just skip through them really quickly,
just
right?
really quick. But I'm also not really a huge movie buff, believe it or not.
Really?
I do watch more TV than movies.
Oddly enough, right?
I know. It's bad. Like I've gotten so much crap working in the industry. Like, oh, you haven't seen this? You haven't seen that? You haven't seen this film movie from 1921 that's all in French and has like German subtitles? No, asshole. I haven't seen that.
And these people that you work with, I mean, are they like super diehard like film buff type people?
It depends. A lot of people are like diehard movie people, and a lot of other people are just more. They have their specific genres that they like or their specific movies that they like. And I think when I went to Full Sail, I wanted to direct music videos. Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I want to be the next Michael Bay or the next, J.J. Abrams. Like I always liked Quentin Tarantino movies and stuff like that. And he was probably my biggest movie inspiration growing up.
Sure.
But I didn't want to work on big blockbusters or anything. I wanted to work on music videos. I wanted to direct.
Are music videos still a thing?
They are.
Are they?
They're not on TRL anymore.
Is TRL still a thing?
Well, TRL's actually coming back.
It's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything old is new again. This is what I'm learning on a daily basis.
But could you imagine all the kids that went through life without TRL? Like, they're missing out, and then it's coming back. So then, like, all these other new millennials or whatever the next generation, they're going to actually have it. So it's like this some small amount of millennials.
I'm fascinated though by the attention of people now, like trying to hold somebody's attention, like to a lot of people now that are younger, just doing a podcast for an hour, half an hour. That is stunning enough to some people where they're like, oh, I don't have that time to sit and listen to that. But a lot of people do. Trying to get attention of people is very difficult in this day. There's a lot of noise. Like we get on our phones. You look at like a Snap or an Instagram story and it's 15 seconds. Like even that, when I go through stories and I'm just, flicking through stories, I'm just like, okay, 15 seconds. This is too long. Like even that, like even me being older, I go through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's why there's so many like YouTube phenomenons that are out there. Like,
oh my God. Yeah. People are blowing up huge on YouTube.
And they're making millions.
Millions.
They're making millions for
with
doing
a fraction of what you
shitty-
guys are doing.
Oh my God. We can make a YouTube video right now.
Yes.
On our phones.
Yes.
Like,
I'm doing it.
Do you know, like, when I remember, was it the iPhone 5?
Yeah.
Their biggest marketing thing was like they were doing short videos that looked like they were like huge cinema like projects that were all shot on the freaking iPhone.
It's crazy,
like,
isn't it?
Oh my God. And they looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like they looked just like an Arri Alexa, like something that was shot on an Arri Alexa. But again, if you're probably
Arri Alexa, now my brain's like, what is that?
If I'm probably gonna get checked for this. But oh sorry, I bumped the mic. If a lot of people can tell. I can't tell. My eye isn't like that good for very minute detail on cameras, but there's a lot of people that are. But I was like, holy crap, this was shot on an iPhone? What?
Yeah, there's a lot of people, if you go on YouTube, that's like iPhone versus like one camera. I see a lot of YouTubers have like this red camera. Have you heard of this?
Oh,
red camera?
I love it. Okay,
see,
everything that is shot on the red camera, like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like you watch the credits and you're like, this is how my brain works. I'm watching something and I'm like, damn, that looks so pretty, right? And that's it. That's all. Like I'm like, oh, look at the grain and the grit on that. Ooh, look at that one shot. I'm not like that, but I'm like, ooh, this looks so pretty. Like there's something about it. Yeah. There's something like the contrast, the color. There's something about it that is very pretty to me. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty. And every single time that thought goes through my head, I find out that it was shot on a red.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's weird because everyone likes the Arri and likes the Alexa and all that stuff, or likes like legit like old film. Like that's what a lot of people in the movie industry like, and a lot of like movie snobs will say it's not a real movie unless it's shot on film.
Oh jeez.
And I believe, again, I don't know a lot about cameras, but I believe the red is a digital camera.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's digital.
Yeah.
Like 8K or something.
And I'd rather look at Girl with the Dragon Tattoo than like a movie from like the 80s that was shot on film. Like I think that's beautiful. I think that looks really pretty.
I don't disagree with you, but I do, to me, and I'm in no place to be a snob on film in any way.
I'm not a snob either. I'm just like, that looks pretty.
But at least you're working on it. But like for me, like I could look at an 80s movie and say, wow, this looks really good. And like there's a lot of these like 4K remasters that they're re-releasing on like Blu-ray and 4K HDR. Well, I don't have 4K HDR, but they do these like remasters and they have the grain and it's like, wow, this looks really good. Like I'm fascinated that like because of these things that are shot on film that they're able to blow them up to be 4K.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, that's all that techie stuff I'm not good at. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I've had a YouTube channel for years. I've never done anything with it. Never. But I'm doing something in 2018 with it. And I just filmed a video yesterday in the parking lot of McDonald's in 4K, 24 frames a second. I actually like the look of a 24 frame a second versus, like, the new iPhone, which I have, the 10 does 60 frames a second in 4K. I film it in 24.
Wait, you did that on your iPhone?
Yes.
Because you have the 10?
Yes.
And the 10 does 4K?
4K.
Holy shit.
4K 24 frames, 30 frames, and 60 frames. But I love the look of the 24
4K
frame.
is?
It's huge.
It's huge.
But if I can get super geeky very quickly, because I know people will just go, want to tune out. Like on the iPhone, they're doing this new video format, like HEVC or something. It's like half the file size. It's like if it's like a 4 gigabyte video, it goes to like a 2 gigabyte video. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I'm actually like literally, I'm filming it with the back camera because that's the one that does it. I'm just like, hey guys, I'm here at McDonald's, blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
Like that's how I do it. I just film like that. But I've actually have like, in my studio, I have like different,
Use a selfie stick.
I have a selfie stick. I have, what do they call that? Like, it's got like 2 grips and then I have like a light and a microphone. Shoot like that. And then I also have just like a stick where I can hold it up like this, high up in the air. So I'm working on some pretty official stuff.
Ooh, everybody tune in. 2018, we got Gary.
I'll show you some samples when we're done. But is there anything else about Full Sail before we move on to kind of where we're at now? Like, is there anything else at Full Sail that you learned, that you took away from, that just blew your mind, or anything else from Full Sail that sticks out?
I think the biggest thing about Full Sail that I learned was networking. On a scale of 1 to 100, I think it's 80% of the game.
Okay.
I think 10% is your attitude, and then the other 10% is skill.
Okay.
Actually, I'd probably say 15% of that is your attitude, and then 5% is your skill.
So if you get an opportunity, if somebody doesn't know you, you get an opportunity somehow and you blow their freaking mind, somebody can go word of mouth, and now all of a sudden you're just filled with work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was at Full Sail, I made sure to try my best to make an impression on my peers,
right,
as well as my instructors, because, well, first of all, the instructors there are freaking awesome. Like,
right,
they're all really cool. Like, it's not like your average like lecture scenario or whatever. It's they're all people that still work in the industry that give their time up to teach you.
Yep.
And they give you all of the lessons that they've learned from their successes and their failures, and they instill that into you. And
they're more like mentors in
absolutely.
A way. Yeah.
I loved all of my instructors, and I still keep in touch with all of them.
Right.
Well, most of them, I feel like as long as they know what my name and my face,
yeah,
after like I've graduated for however many years, then I've, doing at least okay on that.
Sure.
But I still pick their brains sometimes and ask them, like, what would you do in this scenario? Or, check in on them. A lot of them have kids. And I'm like, oh, my God, and that's because I genuinely created, like, friendships with these people.
Sure.
And Full Sail has career development that they're supposed to help you after you graduate. Yeah,
that's kind of where my next thought was. It's like, okay, you go through the 2 years. Mm-hmm. Now what? What do I do?
And that's how a lot of students are, like, when they graduate. And I think it's so important to... Full Sail is what you make it.
Okay.
They're going to teach every single student the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You're going to learn more if you create those relationships with your instructors. You're going to learn more if you reach out to an instructor and you're like, hey, I know class is over, but do you mind if I take another 10 or 15 minutes to play with the camera some more?
Sure.
Every 9.99%, like, they're going to do it. They're going to stay back, and they're going to show you, like, one thing is, like, I find funny when you see someone that has, like, a camera and they're, like, a picture, like, oh, take a picture of me with this camera, and they've got, like, their eye in the viewfinder like this, and then the other eye is closed. That's not how you're supposed to look through a camera. And I always laugh when I find, like, I see pictures online of someone, like, holding a big camera or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, I had one instructor, it's like, no, because if you've got if you got one eye on the thing and then the other one's closed, where the hell are you walking?
It makes sense.
Yeah. You got to have both eyes open.
Yeah.
And just, like, little stuff like that. Like, But in career development, they don't get the work for you. Right. You have to get it yourself. They're going to align you with the right people that you need to be aligned with in order to get an interview or to at least get your resume out there, maybe in like places where you would have never thought that you could possibly get it there. Sure. And then you have to make that impression, and you have to be able to put stuff on your resume so it looks good, and so that people like trust you to work on their film sets and stuff.
Sure.
And I've been able to, I've kept in touch with my career advisor. I've had like 3 of them now, but my original one that I had all throughout school, his name's Steven, and he was amazing. He got me my first job interview with ESPN. I got the job. I think I psyched myself out on it because I wanted to go in as like a camera operator.
Yeah.
And I think I psyched myself out. They had like this test that you had to do, and it was like ESPN Sports or whatever. And I psyched myself out for it.
Well, it's only ESPN. No big deal. No pressure.
So I went in at like I was interviewing as a camera operator, but I think they put me in like the editing room.
Okay.
Like where she can't fuck up too bad. Yeah. We'll put her with like someone that actually knows what they're doing.
Sure.
And I got that job. I didn't actually.
Is that now? I'm sorry. Is that the first job after Full Sail?
That was the first job, but I never actually worked there.
You never worked there
because I never got a call. Like it was based off of like freelance. Like they would call you whenever they needed you.
Sure.
So my roommate's over here getting all these calls, and I'm not getting any of the calls.
You're not getting any calls.
No. And I went into and I got the job. They're like, yeah, we want to offer you this job, but I think they had like their main top people. So once they weren't there, then they'd pick these people, and then if those people weren't available, they'd pick these people, and then so forth and so on for like 10 other
like
times. And I'm
somewhere.
way down there. Like, oh, that's the girl that couldn't. I think I just psyched myself out because I was just. It was like a test. Like it was like I'm being tested, and like I have to prove to these people that I'm better than all. There's like 20 of us there.
That's like a hell of a first opportunity, though. I mean,
dude,
could you imagine?
God. Yeah, and my roommate had it, and I was so proud of her. And then from there, I got LaVoe's, which is The Voice, but it's for Telemundo. It's the exact same show. It's just for Telemundo.
Okay.
And I actually got that job because went back in my directing class.
Right.
We had to all do a music video. I was so stoked. I was like, yes. And we were all in groups, like our own groups that we wanted to work in. This one group did like this very bizarre song and went into downtown Orlando and like started shooting just like the nightlife down there and played this like really bizarre music to it. And when they showed it in class, people like kind of started ripping it apart, and they're like, no, this is so stupid. Like, I don't even get it. Like, what's the point? And like one of the girls that was working on it, who worked on it, she was like, well, wait a second, hold on. This is like our, vision. And like, this is like, I thought it was really cool. And like, da-da-da. And I like slowly in the back, like raised my hand, and I was like, I know this might not be the most popular opinion, but I think this is brilliant. And her name was Giselle. She turns around, looks at me, and she was like, thank you. and I was like, do you guys not see? Like, this is like really good. And it was like, I like saw like the symbolic and like all the symbols and all the like, it was a really cool video, and it was different than everyone else. Like everyone else was taking the music video, like taking the song and doing it like lyric by lyric and telling the story like that. And they did something completely different. And I thought it was really awesome. And so flashback, that was probably a year before I got on The Voice.
Right.
And I get a Facebook message from Giselle. Her and I were not best friends in school. Like we were just like classmates. Acquaintances.
Sure.
And we only had like 2 classes together.
Right. Part of your network to bring it back around.
Yeah, to bring it back around.
There you go.
A year later, hold on a second. Okay, I'm like 3 months away from graduating.
Okay.
I get a Facebook message from her, and there's another girl or two in the message saying, hey, I need help with some casting. And, I really like you ladies, and I wanted to see if you guys could help me.
Sure.
And I was like about to graduate, and I was like, I don't want to work on another student film. Like, and she was in, so just to kind of give you guys, probably doesn't really matter, but I was in the accelerated program. So I took 2 classes a month, and she was in the extended program. So she only took 1 class a month. And it's just like for people that, either want to work on a slower pace, or like certain, like student loan things, like you have more opportunities to get student loans and stuff. It makes it just easier. And I think essentially it's a little cheaper. I'm not sure. But you get
I would hope if you're doing less.
You get more opportunities for student loans.
Yes.
So her and I really, again, we didn't know each other like that. We only had like 2 classes together.
Right.
And so I like see that and I'm like, oh, okay, and I was working at a restaurant at the time, and I was like, I'd rather make $100 or so, serving tables than go work on another student film, because I really needed the money. And so I was sitting back and like, went to work, and I hated working there. Like I hated it. Every single day I went in there, I was just miserable.
Right.
And, but putting on that smiley face, and, I think I may have gotten in trouble or something, or I had a bad day. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this.
Right.
And I was like, I'm like going to work every single day, and I hate it. And like, I was never able to do any outside projects outside of like my class projects.
Yep.
So I hit her up and I said, hey, if you're still looking for someone to help you with casting, I'm down. Just let me know. And she was like, yeah, I really need you. Like, I need someone to run the camera, like in the casting room. So it turns out it wasn't a student project. It was alumni that had come out from Louisiana.
Right.
To shoot, to cast for a 10-episode web series. And that's like, that's how I got into the industry. I worked
crazy,
for
isn't it?
free. Yeah, I
See?
worked for free at that casting. It was me and Giselle and another girl, and her and I were in the casting room, and they were like, hey, we can't pay you, but we'd love to take you guys out for dinner and drinks after. We really like you guys. And so we're like, hell yeah. We go to Cheesecake Factory, get some drinks, get some nice dinner. Yeah.
For the record.
And then after there, we go to this other bar, and we're all taking shots and hanging out and like networking.
Yes.
And like, but not even networking. Like these were like, we had so much fun working like in casting with them that day. And hearing their stories, because Giselle and I were both in school. These were all kids that were now working in like big movies.
Yep.
That were working on a passion project. And we're like over here asking them 101 million
You're hungry
questions.
as fuck. I mean, that's the punchline. You're hungry as fuck.
And we're just like, tell us what you guys know. Like, we want to be where you're at. Like, and you guys are awesome. Like, everyone has these stereotypical like views on Hollywood.
Yep.
And here you are, like, legitimately laughing your ass off with people that work in the industry and like having so much fun and like doing what you were going to school for. And it's fun. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And so
it's the best kind.
Oh my God. And these are like 2 of which are my roommates now. Yeah. And they asked us, they're like, hey, so we're coming back in December and we're going to shoot this thing, and it's 10 days over Christmas hiatus, and we can't pay you, but, we want you guys, if you guys can give us some time, and, we want to keep working with you guys. So Giselle and I reached out. We, like, got the entire crew, all local, Full Sail kids, reached out to people that we knew, that we liked working with, and because they didn't know anybody in Orlando to work for them. So Giselle and I are all picking kids that we were in class with, that we enjoyed working with, that were good. And
it's more that networking thing.
That whole networking thing.
They're working with people they like in you, and then you're working with people that you like, the ones that you're picking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And none of us are getting paid for it, but we did this 10 episode web series in 10 days, and it was probably the most fun I've ever had on set. And that's what I think essentially got me on Fantastic Four, was that web series, because the first AD on that was working on Terminator.
Yep.
Ryan, who was the writer creator, was working on Fantastic Four. The producer, one of the producers, Jamie, he was working on amazing things in Atlanta, and Juan was working on amazing things in editing in Louisiana with So Juan, Ryan, and Kristen, they were all in Louisiana, and then Jamie was in Atlanta. So after we shot that, it was like January 2015. So it was like December 14 to January 15, I think. Or no, 13. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. I graduated November 2013. Mm-hmm. Then December of 2013 into January 2014 was the web series for the 2 weeks. And then my lease was up in March. So in that period, I had proven to Giselle and Giselle's doing amazing things. Right. She was always the one that had her hands in everything. She's such a go-getter. And she, and here I am, freshly graduated, and she's still in school, and she's doing all these amazing things.
Yep.
And I guess I proved to her, working on that web series with all those amazing people, that, and here's two girls that had no real relationship before this.
Yep.
And we became such really good friends. She was like, hey, Lavose is looking for an extra PA. Do you speak any Spanish? And I was like, do I look like I speak any Spanish? No. And she was like, you know what? It's okay. They just really need someone. Can you come tomorrow? And I was like, fuck yeah. And we were on
be there.
we were over on the Universal lot in Orlando.
Wow, that's awesome. I would go just for that. I mean,
dude, oh my God. It was amazing.
Were they on one of those sound stages?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were working in contestant management. So a lot of it was getting the contestants' luggage from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And whenever someone goes home, you have to get their luggage out of their room and bring it all the way down and have it ready for them to be sent off.
Yep.
And it was a whole thing, but she asked me, I think that was 2 or 3 months worth of work. And it got me all the way to March, where my lease was about to be up.
And amazing how that works out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And Ryan, him and I had created a really good friendship, he was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to continue working in Orlando? What are you going to do? And I was like, well, I don't know. I guess I'll just have Orlando as my home base, and then I'll just fly out for jobs if I have to.
Yeah.
And I have no money.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I honestly don't know what the hell I'm going to do if I can't find work here. And he's like, look.
Now, hold on. Is that scary, though? Are you kind of
Oh, my God. It's petrifying. You just went to school for 2.5 years in the safety zone.
Yep.
And you're out in the real world now, buddy. You know? You better flap those wings.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of connections.
Yeah.
All you have is that that little goofy ass smile you got, and I will do anything you need attitude. Yeah. And that's all I had. That is literally all I had. I had nothing to offer anyone. Yeah. I needed someone to I needed someone to have faith in me.
Right, take a chance.
To take a chance, and that's what Ryan did.
Right.
So
because you knew when I get that at bat, I'm knocking it out of the park. I don't care what it takes. I am going to make sure that ball leaves this park. Sorry, I'm a baseball nerd. So you knew in your mind, whatever comes along, whatever it is, if it's some wacky ass game show or if it's Fantastic Four, whatever it is, I'm getting this ball out of this park no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and because on Lavose, I was the only person on that entire set in contestant management that did not speak Spanish.
Wow.
I was the only one. And I had parents and contestants coming up to me, and I'm still friends on Facebook with half of these people.
Wow.
You know, a lot of them didn't speak English, and a lot of them were bilingual. And, I was just you need bags carried? Yeah. I'm going to carry that bag you've never seen anybody carry a bag.
I love it.
And I'm not, I don't know if anybody knows, but Spanish people do not pack lightly. And I have 30 contestants to speak for.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I do that show, and then as I'm like packing my apartment up, I get a call from Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, no big deal.
Mm-hmm. No biggie.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, may we speak? I get like a Louisiana, number. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I knew that everyone was in Louisiana and they're over here trying to pull strings for me.
Yeah.
And, Ryan kept telling me, he's like, you just need to be here.
Right.
Just get here and we will help you.
Yes.
And I was like, it's not that freaking simple, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm packing up my apartment. My lease is almost done. I've already made this.
So they're saying move to Louisiana. Is that what
Yes.
they're saying? Okay.
Move to Louisiana and we'll help you find work. So I'm in the process of packing up my stuff. I'm not going to renew my lease because I'm going to move.
Yes.
And I get a call from a Louisiana number, and it turns out to be Jurassic World.
Wow.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And they're like, hi, may we speak with Jade? This is so-and-so from Jurassic World. I'm in the accounting department. And we got your resume from Ryan Redmond.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I was like, oh my God, my heart's going a million miles an hour.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. Like, do you need, like, you want to set up, like, I was like, I'm currently in Orlando. Like, I can set up, like, a Skype if you guys want to do, like, an interview or a phone interview. And they're like, no, it's okay. We just want to, when are you going to be here? And I was like, and they're like, so do you not live here? And I was like, no, I currently, I'm like in the process of moving there. I should be there in the next like couple weeks, but I can be there. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We don't want you to move here for nothing. And I was like, what? And I lost, like, I was like, oh my God. I went into like overdrive and like,
Sure.
I think I packed my apartment up in like less than a week and like put everything over in my Nana's house. And I was out there.
Yeah.
I was out there because I was like, I just lost out on
Jurassic World,
the biggest movie of 2016.
Yeah, that movie did huge.
Yeah.
And just side note for people that don't know, so Louisiana, is that like a big hotbed for movies?
It was.
Okay, it was.
It's not anymore because the tax incentive. What happened? I don't know. The tax incentive, I guess, kind of fucked them up. So they kind of moved. Everyone kind of uplifted and went back to Hollywood, actually.
Okay.
And then whoever didn't go back to Hollywood went to Atlanta.
Right. So you packed up within a week and you were in Louisiana.
I was in Louisiana.
Wow.
And I was there for maybe about a month.
Okay.
And got on Fantastic Four.
So what happens when you get there? Like you just like find a place? Are you crashing with your friends or?
I was staying in a hotel room.
You're staying in a hotel.
I didn't know. Like,
how are you bankrolling that,
dude? Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I love this story, man. We were talking a week ago. And you're like, I don't have anything interesting to talk about. No big deal. I love this, by the way. Okay, keep going. Tell me, you're in Louisiana. You get the Fantastic Four. How does all this happen?
So, my friend Ryan, he was like, what department do you want to work in? And I was like, oh, well, I know, like, I want to be a director, so there's no way to just work your way up as a director. You have to just direct stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just get my foot in the door. I'm good. I know how to work in the art department.
Yeah.
And so I was like, art department, I guess, like set decoration, like I think I can be good there.
Sure.
So he's like, all right, well, let me reach out to the coordinator and maybe we can all go get drinks and they can just meet you. And if they like you, then they like you. And maybe they have a spot for you. And I was like, okay. So we go out. I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
I'm like a nervous wreck. I've only worked on Laveau's. And Fantastic Four was a multi-$100 million blockbuster.
No pressure.
No fucking pressure. And so I was just like, we all go up there. There's like this one hot spot called Radio Bar.
Okay.
That was a really cool bar. And the coordinator shows up and he's with his now fiance. And I'm just like, who wants to do shots, and I'm so nervous, and like they're all just drinking their drinks or whatever, and I'm trying to buy like as many rounds as possible because I just want them to like.
Want them to
I
like
wanted
you.
to be liked, and
like me. Here's some
just
drinks.
Like me. Who doesn't like to get drunk?
Yeah.
So I go and I get the first round of drinks, and then like we're all talking and everything, and like I'm just trying to like pick their brains and asking them questions about the movie and about the industry and stuff like that. And I think Sean was like, he was the art coordinator or the set deck coordinator. He was like asking me like, oh, what do you want to work? And like I was like, oh, I'm really interested in set deck and like art. And he was like, I think we might have a spot open.
Right.
And I was like, who wants more drinks? And so, he was like, I'll have to ask the decorator and see if they want to bring another PA on or whatever. And so I go up and I go to the bar and I start getting another round. And apparently while I was gone, Sean had like looked over to Ryan. He was like, she doesn't have to keep buying us drinks and stuff. She's already got the job. and like Ryan kind of like looked at me and was like, stop. Because I was just so nervous. I was so nervous, and like
sure.
I didn't know any other way to like, I guess like bond with them. I only had like an hour or so to like kind of show them who I was, and
of course,
who not better to learn who Jade is than drunk Jade.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's one of the first 2 or 3 meetings I had with you myself. So.
Oh.
So you get the job.
So I get the job. I'm on that for like 6 months.
And what's it like? Yeah, what's it like when you show up the first day?
Oh, it's like I was trying to do everything. Like I was trying to I was cleaning up trash.
Yeah.
I was doing this, and Sean's like, you don't have to do that. And he was like, in all honesty, if you just want to go sit at your desk and put Netflix on, you'll be fine.
Wow.
Like it was like that because I think he knew that I was so.
You were hungry.
Yeah, and I was just like so. I was so green. I had no idea what it was like.
Yeah. And you wanted to make the best impression possible.
Exactly. And I wanted to continue working with them. I had so much fun like with them like throughout the show. Like I wanted to continue working with them. And continue learning from them and all that great stuff. But yeah, so it was really awesome. I got to like see the sets and like being on like a ginormous soundstage and like Laveau's. I wasn't working on stage. I was working with the contestants. Right. So I didn't get to see like the big voice setup and all that stuff. I'd only ever done that in school.
Yeah.
So the decorator like was amazing, and like I got to go to set sometimes to just kind of like, see what they were doing and like, bring him some stuff here and there. And
you ever walk up while they're filming and all that kind of stuff?
I did once.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on set once while they were filming. Actually a couple times, but like, in between, like you have to be very careful when you're walking on set. You can't. No one wants to be that guy that like messes anything up.
Of course not.
That drops something in the middle of a take, or that the director has to like look over at you, or walk in front of frame, because sometimes you have PAs that are like, obviously on bigger sets and stuff, this happens a lot less, but like you have a PA that's like locking down any type of place that can, if you walk any further, you're walking through frame. Yeah. So they lock it up.
When you say frame, you're talking, for the people that don't know, you're talking about being on actual
the camera.
Okay, got it.
So they're standing like as close but far enough away to where if you walk, then you're not,
How the hell do they miss those damn microphones that are sometimes hanging down? I'm sure you've seen those bloopers.
Because you have someone that has their arms above their head for 12 hours a day.
It just drops a little bit.
And oh my God, to be a boom mic operator, like, is...
Why does it have to be done by hand? Tell me that. Why can't it be like on a crane somewhere?
Because it's I don't know, to be honest. Like, I'm sure
I know it's not your world, but I figured I don't know. I figured
well,
I'd
and
ask.
it's just like how we're holding these. If I put this on the table,
Yes.
you can hear that maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not good for, I guess, the microphones are very sensitive little.
They are very
pedals.
sensitive, yes.
So even like certain mics, you can like, you pick up the wind, you pick up like if someone's coughing 10 miles away, you know.
Yeah, like those are like what you're kind of describing there sounds more like a condenser mic. These are dynamic. And I got dynamics, especially being in an apartment, because, God, the condensers that pick up everything. They pick up the people down the street. Like, they're very sensitive. Mm-hmm. So,
and they have every single mic in the book, you know, on set with them.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on the set one day, they're filming. What's that kind of like to see, like, you know, because you're talking about, you know, since you're younger, you're like looking forward to like wanting to work on this stuff one day. So like you get to a set and there's actually people that are doing it. What's that like for you?
It's amazing. It's literally, it makes everything that I went through in my life worth it.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Did it feel real or did it feel like you were dreaming? Like, is it that cliche? Oh God, it felt like a dream.
No, it's like breathtaking. Like the first few times that you're on, like I've seen huge movie directors while they're working.
Yeah.
And some of them it's like, okay, that's really cool. And then there's others where it's like breathtaking.
Yeah.
And you like really stop and you just take in like how I'm at the complete bottom of the totem pole here. I am like, they don't even make a union for the guys that the job that I'm in, because we're just assistants. We're just young kids, and it's surreal. Like it's literally, and I can be at the top of the food chain and be working on amazing things, and it still be super surreal, because this is like, it's your dreams like coming true, like right in front of your eyes. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like
it's huge.
It's huge. I don't know. It's amazing. I'll never take this for granted. There's sometimes where it's like, you know, you're fed up and like you get stressed out sometimes on set. You got people yelling at you, and like,
is this like the minority, like dealing with people like this, or is it 50-50, or like, you know, I mean, because obviously you've had other jobs where probably you don't go through nearly this kind of stuff. Like,
I've worked on a lot of TV, movie, web.
Yeah.
I've worked on a lot, and I've only had 2 bosses that I didn't get along with.
Okay. So people generally are fairly, I mean, I don't know if cool's the word, but like they're level-headed. To me as an individual, yes. Okay.
I can't speak for everybody because everyone's different. And again, it goes back to that, it's 5% skill and however much, like just being able to get along with somebody, like get along with your team and everything. Yeah. Yeah, so I've only had 2 bad incidences, and they were both out in California. Every other time I've worked, they've been amazing. I've been so grateful and excited and felt like I was appreciated. And even being at the bottom, you know, it doesn't take much to make a PA feel really great about themselves, because a lot of PAs, there are a lot of lazy PAs that don't want to do anything and they're just there for a paycheck, because you really get a lot of bullshit. You get handed a lot of bullshit. And it's like, you really want me to do that?
Like odd requests or just stupid stuff?
Like both. Both. Like,
is there anything that you can think of that you could actually say that's like super odd? Like, I don't know, like clean off their toenail. I mean, I don't know. Like something was weird. Like,
there was one show that I worked on. I will not name it.
Sure, that's fine.
And it did not happen to me, but it happened to another PA.
Yeah.
Where someone very high on the totem pole.
Okay.
I don't even know if I should be saying this. Asked a PA to clean some cocaine off of
okay. All right.
their
Yeah, that would
table.
Be a weird request.
And the PA was like, no.
I'm not touching that. I don't want my fingerprints anywhere near that.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I've gotten like weird, like some stuff is like, other stuff is like, if I were to explain it, you guys wouldn't understand. But if you can only imagine a boss telling you to do something that you felt if you did it that way, it would take quadruple the amount of time doing it that way as opposed to doing it this way, and you get the same exact.
But they want it their way.
They want it their way.
Yeah.
Because it's the way that they know how to do it, and it's the way that and at the end of the day, it's like it's almost like I've gone and I've been like, well, why don't you want me to just do it this way? It'll be like this, and they're like, I said do it this way, and that's how I want it done. And it's like, okay, we'll do it that way, and I won't ask you any more questions.
Yes.
And so you just do it. Like, I don't even ask questions. I try not to ask questions. I just do it. And I got nicked one time on not in a bad way, but they were just like, I was told to do something one way, and I knew that there was this whole thing or whatever.
Yep.
But I didn't say it because it was my boss. And then another one of my bosses, because when you're a PA, everyone is your boss.
Yes.
So another person came up to me and they're like, why are you doing it like this? Why didn't you just do it like that? I'm like, well, because they asked me to do it this way. And they're like, no, speak up for yourself. Like, say something. I'm like, really?
So some people are telling you got to do it this way. Other people are like, no, just do it the best way.
Yeah,
whatever.
That happens a lot.
Oh my
and
God.
So, and as a PA, you just have to just be like, okay. And even like when I was set dressing, if the director tells you to do like to move something over here, right?
Right.
And the director of photography, the DP, says, well, no, we need this over here. It's like they're both equal.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They're both pretty much equal, I guess, for the most part. And so you go and you move it the way the DP told you to move it, and then you go and you reset and you go do whatever you're doing, and then the DP is like, why did you move that there? I told you to do this. And you're like, okay, and you go and move it back.
Yep.
For me, it's very easy for me to get a little flustered and be like, well, hold on a second. This person just tell me what you guys want. Can you two converse? Like, have a conversation.
They don't talk to each other.
They don't talk to each other. Have a conversation, and then because they'll run you back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, because you'll move that back over the way the director wants it, and then you'll go back to what you were doing, what you got pulled away from doing, and the DP is like, why did you move that again? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, wait a second. Did you guys seriously not talk about this?
Oh my God.
So you get a lot of that. And one art director that I worked with once, because I got a little frustrated once, and I was like, okay, look. And I was coming from a set dresser, which is not high on the totem pole, but it's not a PA. And I was like, just tell me what you guys want. Hey, excuse me, can you come over here, please?
Yeah.
You're telling me this, and you're telling me this. And, like, I had an art director that was like, do not do that. You come to me. And because I was getting frustrated. Right? I was getting so frustrated. I was like, you guys just talk.
Yeah.
We don't have time. Like, we don't have time. And I'm just, like, trying to deliver everything, and I'm getting pulled in 800 different directions. He's like, you just come to me and I'll go talk to them. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, I did overstep and, put my...
We all have that moment, I feel like, at least once in life where we overstep somebody who's like our immediate.
It's fucking annoying sometimes. Just like, God damn, just get your shit together.
I know. Now,
but it works but again, that the director, that works for him. Like, that vision looks good to him. Yeah. But for the DP, it's blocking this, and this, and he can't maybe move the camera around or something because of this. So it's like, you have to please everyone, and you're
never going to please everybody.
But you're never going to.
Yeah.
But you gotta. It's the production designer, the DP, the director, and the sound mixer are the 4 highest positions on a set.
Yeah.
And then the AD. But those are the 4 that are creatively, like, you know, in control, I guess. And then the ADs are kind of like human adult babysitters on set. But
yeah, you're never going to please everybody. I can tell you on my experience on a much smaller scale, but I used to do an all wrestling radio show around the time we first met. And after a while, I decided, it'd be more fun if I talked about like other shit, like real life shit. So you started like bleeding in other stuff. So then you pissed off the wrestling people because you started talking about this other shit. But then you brought in these new people who love when you talk about other shit, but hate it when you talk about wrestling. So then you say, well, fuck it. Then you just split the 2 shows in half, and then you split your audience, and then you're just kind of screwed.
But then you have a new audience.
Yeah. Then I just say, I'm just going to blow it up and start something brand new.
Yeah, true.
Fantastic Four, is this the biggest thing you've done so far to date? would you say?
I think what I'm currently working on is maybe the biggest.
Okay, fair enough. We'll talk about that at a later date, as you're still working on it. And so when you get done with the Fantastic Four, are you...
Well, actually, because I worked a little bit on Star Trek.
Okay.
I did the Predator.
Is that Star Trek the second, third, fourth? How many Star Treks are there now?
Beyond? Which one was that one? The most recent Star Trek.
Okay,
Beyond,
so that would be
Star
number
Trek.
3.
Okay.
Of the new Star Treks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
whenever that
worked. I
is.
worked on that for a little bit.
Okay, all right.
And then I did Predator, and then I did a J.J. Abrams movie that hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
So those are all really big movies.
Wow, J.J. Abrams. You might want to get buddy with him because he's getting ready to do another Star Wars here soon.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Boy, if you work on that,
That'd be pretty cool.
Imagine that. So after you get done with the Fantastic Four, like when do you go to LA? Like when do you decide, okay, I need to be in LA now?
Right after Fantastic Four.
Okay.
So the guys that I met on that web series were like, they'd already been in Louisiana for 5 or 6 years or so at that point.
Right.
And they were like, well, we're going to go off to LA and become writers and directors and real life people that aren't doing like this kind of work.
Yep.
And we can only do that there. So I was like, well, what about me?
Y'all just going to leave me here. Yeah. First of all, I was in Orlando. Then you're like, no, you need to come here. This is the place to be. And now y'all just trying to leave.
That's exactly what happened.
What the hell? People are weird.
Well, it actually worked out perfectly because we left.
Yeah.
I think Louisiana got about another year worth of work, just one more year after we left. Like, because they did, oh shit, what's that one movie?
There's only thousands of movies out there, Jade.
What's that one movie? Deepwater Horizon with
the Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. They did that out there, and that was the same set deck department that I had just worked with.
Okay.
So they all kind of
Deepwater Horizon.
Deepwater Horizon. Yeah. What did I say? Deep Sea or I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Deep Blue Horizon.
Deep Blue. They worked on that out there. While like it took them about a year. I think there's a couple other movies like Turbo. Or,
yeah, you're really into the movies, Jade.
Oh my god, I'm so bad.
Good for you.
And all of my really good friends have worked on these movies, and
and now you're just butchering the names of these films.
I know, I'm so disrespectful. But anyway, so they were all still working out there for a good year.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, everyone that wasn't an LA native that was working in Louisiana started selling their houses or giving up their leases and started moving out to Los Angeles because no one was really shooting anything anymore out there.
Wow.
Like it took 1 year, I think, after like Deepwater Horizon, once they were kind of done, and I think they did another couple biggies, I think.
So if there is like a place that becomes like a hotbed, like a Louisiana, people that maybe are in LA or Atlanta, wherever, they'll move to this hotbed to get as much work as they can, and then if it dries up, they just leave. Like, is that how that works?
Well, if you're really good at what you do,
yes,
which is everyone that's working on those big projects are like the best of the best, I think.
I would hope so. Yeah. If they're working on the big money stuff.
They have really made a name for themselves. A lot of them are LA natives, and they get production will ship them out.
Ship them like in a box.
In a box.
UPS.
A UPS first class. They'll fly them out and they'll put them up. Wow. They'll pay for their rent. They'll put them in a nice like apartment for however long the movie is on for.
That's where all this money goes.
Well, because a lot of places it's cheaper to shoot the same exact thing in LA and take exactly what you're going to shoot in LA and shoot it in Atlanta. It's a fraction of the cost, even if you're paying for. Because
Atlanta wants that money.
Yeah, and they want to be known as a big Hollywood thing.
They want tourists. They want that money. Yeah.
Yeah, you see at the end of all these movies that has the big peach at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all shot in Georgia.
No kidding.
So it's cheaper to fly your LA people out there, put them up, feed them. They give you per diem, so they give you money to feed yourself, 3 meals a day.
Wow. And
pay for your rent while you're there, and then pay you your paycheck as well. and your kit rental, whatever else you need.
And when you're saying like 3 meals a day, are we talking like McDonald's meals?
No.
Outback meals? Like what are we talking about?
Probably
here?
getting, depending on the size of the show, you could be getting anywhere between like $50 to $70 a day for per diem to feed yourself a day. And
that's quite a bit.
That includes weekends. That includes weekends, because the minute that you fly in to the minute you fly out.
Yeah. What happens if you don't use all that? I mean, if you went to like McDonald's, okay.
You pocket it.
I mean, imagine if you lived off like the dollar menu or something, right? Like,
and you also have to think too is like production feeds you lunch.
Yeah.
At work. So yeah, I mean, you're able to make really good money when you work out of state. You
got a whole other salary based on per diems.
But the thing is too is that's why a lot of places like Georgia, there's so many people that live there now. Like a lot of people in LA that don't want to live in LA, let's just say, which isn't a lot of people, because people that live in LA like really like it. But for example, like there are some people that don't want to live there but still want to work in movies. They will uproot and move there, and that betters their opportunities to work on those films because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
They're not going to fly an LA person out if there's already a Georgia person there that can do the job at a fraction of the LA price. And those people have unions as well that you have to meet their expectations and their promises. So
for you right now, though, I mean, you're in LA. Is this like a necessity? You need to be in LA? I mean, I guess it's kind of answers itself because you obviously wouldn't be there if you didn't have to be. But I mean, is that kind of like you want to be there? This is where everything's at for you right now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I was going to another option. I would have either stayed in Louisiana if like my friends were going to stay there. I was either going to stay there and make a name for myself there until there was no more work, or I was going to move to Atlanta because it's cheaper and, you know, I could be working the same exact stuff. I think it might be easier to get in the union in Atlanta.
Okay.
Because there's a lot less people going for those jobs. Right. However, it's a whole process. Like, let me try to explain. Louisiana and Atlanta, like Louisiana and Georgia, are right to work states. So you don't have to be in the union. If Jurassic World is shooting in Louisiana, right?
Yep.
You do not have to be in the union to work on that movie because they're shooting in a right to work state.
Okay.
So they don't have to hire a Louisiana person to work on that. So you can hire a non-union coordinator. You can hire a non-union production manager. You can hire whoever you want that's non-union in those states. So it's easier in those states to kind of climb the totem poles.
Yep.
But I believe if you're an Atlanta, if you're a Georgia Union person and you flew out to Los Angeles or New York,
right,
you couldn't work there because it's a different union. But if you're in Louisiana, or if you're in Los Angeles or New York, your union goes everywhere.
Yeah, you can go anywhere.
So it's the whole thing.
But for LA right now, I mean, this is the best place for you right now to build you.
Yeah, because it's the best of both worlds. If I wanted to be a coordinator,
right,
I'd want to be in the Los Angeles union because I can go anywhere and work with that union card. If I wanted, that's where everyone becomes a director. That's like either there or New York. I have a lot more opportunities for different employment.
Yeah. New York probably just sounds like a mess too. I've been up there. It's pricey. What's actually more expensive? What do you think, New York or LA?
Oh, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least LA is really expensive, but you're getting a lot more than what you would be getting in New York.
Yeah.
You're getting a closet for $5,000 a month, and at least in LA, you can get $5,000 will get you like a 3-bedroom house or something, you know?
Yeah.
Probably even more than that.
Probably so.
It's just like things in LA are really expensive.
What when you got to LA, I mean, you've been in Orlando, you've been in Louisiana, you came from Waldorf. Like, what is there anything that surprised you about LA, or just kind of like blew your mind, or like things that you love, don't love about LA, kind of that whole thing?
I love everything about LA.
You love everything.
Yeah.
It's like that song, I love LA. Now I'm really showing my age, by the way.
No, it really is true though. Traffic is all right. I mean, it's there's a lot of people on the road,
Yes.
but it's not like DC traffic. You've been in traffic here where it's like standstill.
Every day I hate it.
Yeah, it's standstill out here. It will literally stand still and not move for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, y'all are congested, but you're moving.
Yeah, so it makes a big difference. And then you can also take like back roads and stuff, and the weather's perfect all year round. The biggest stereotype that I think I was the most set back was like LA people have a very bad rep as far as people.
Yes.
Everyone says like, oh, they're snobby, oh, they've got their nose up, they're prestigious, like whatever. I don't think so. Like, I don't think so. The dating life is a nightmare.
Is it really?
Oh my God, yeah. Good luck.
Why would you say that?
It's just a nightmare. It's just there's so many people, and it's all dating apps, and it's all Bumble and Tinder, and no one wants to.
Is it just the people aren't cool, or?
I don't know. No, it's like there's so many options, I think.
Okay, but why does that make it a nightmare versus, hey, there's a lot of options. Like, there's a lot of different ways I can go here.
Because no one wants to settle down.
Everybody wants to kind of just be a free spirit.
Yes, and put things into all sorts of holes. It is a nightmare.
So, I mean, but for you, like, in the place you are in your life right now, I mean, you really can't, you can't really settle down, right? I mean, because you're still trying to figure shit out.
I mean, I guess I could if I really wanted to, but I don't want to. Like, I don't want anything really. Like, kids will come one day, and if it doesn't come naturally, then I'll adopt. It doesn't bother me. Marriage, I've never been one to want a big white gown and a wedding and stuff. That's not me.
But I mean, look, when you say it's a nightmare and everybody's putting things in holes, like, why not just say, fuck it, I'm in LA, let's have some fun, and fucking, like, I'm just going to work here and have fun here at night. I mean, why is it a nightmare, I guess?
Because that's how STDs are spread, Gary. That's how you contract herpes.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if you're responsible about it. The proper protection.
It's just not me. That's just not me. I'm a little bit more shy when it comes to actually doing it. I guess.
All right. Well,
I talk a big game sometimes. But
you talk a big game.
I'm a little shy.
Oh boy.
I don't want to get pregnant or get an STD. So
yeah.
Because I don't know, it's a whole different ballgame.
You just want to like go and hang out with people and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to do all the other kind of stuff.
Yep, I've got one really close girlfriend out there.
Okay.
And like her and I, like we have seen more of the city than like I could picture actually having a guy for like a dude.
Yeah, well the dude just wants to hang out at your house,
yeah,
right? Like,
nasty.
Hey, let's watch a movie.
Yeah.
Wink wink, nudge nudge.
So
yeah.
So yeah, like her and I, like we actually get out there and like do really anything. There's so much in LA. Yeah, there's so.
Do you feel like you've seen most of it by now, or is there still more to see?
I haven't even like scratched the surface.
Right.
I've been there for going on 4 years, I think.
Right. What's like 2 or 3 things you haven't done yet that are on your list to do?
There's a lot of museums I want to see.
Like wax museums, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's wax. I haven't gone to any wax museum.
What about like those like cheap Hollywood tours of like, this is Marilyn Monroe's old house.
I've done that once and it backfired.
Did it?
Yep, we got stuck out in fucking West Hollywood during rush hour. That's a whole story. Your wife knows all about that story.
Oh, she was there? Was that when she was there with you?
No, this was an old friend from grade school.
Okay.
It's a whole nightmare.
All right.
Anyways,
we don't have to go there.
It's not really an exciting story unless you know the person.
Okay. So I mean, what do you feel like in the next couple of years? Like, what are your goals? What do you have in mind? Like your path that you're on now. Where do you think you're headed?
So one of my biggest, I think goals for 2018 would be said girlfriend, my friend Kristen.
Yeah. She's also in the business.
No, she works in music.
Oh, okay.
She went to Drexel, and she project manages, like like heavy metal like screamo bands for Fearless.
Oh, Fearless. Yeah. Fearless Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that record. Well, I don't know anybody there, but I know the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a project manager there.
No shit.
And she's got a couple bands. Actually got a handful of bands. But she had asked me to write a treatment for a music video for one of her bands.
Who was the band? Can you say the band? Do you know the band? I'm just wondering if it's somebody I know.
My Enemies and I. They probably don't. They're like an up and coming.
Okay, up and coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're like her baby band. Like
right.
her. But
So you're almost one step closer to doing that music video you want to do.
Well, you see, they have someone that they hired there. That Fearless has one person, and sometimes like there's people that write treatments for people, and like you can sell treatments, you can write treatments, like whatever, you just get known in that world or whatever. And she had asked me if I could write one. Granted, they didn't pick my idea or anything, but the opportunity to even write a treatment for a band. Yeah. Like I gave them 2 ideas just to help. Like sure. It wasn't just a way for me to get a learning experience from it. And if they picked it, then they picked it. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. But if not, then it is what it is. It's no skin off my back. It's just a learning experience. And the whole time, like I had like that like whole. I felt creative again, because a lot of the stuff that I do, sometimes it gets
it's repetitive.
Yeah.
Mundane.
Yeah. And you know what you're doing every day, and it's not creative. There's other people making the creative decisions. Yeah. And you're just physically doing it. There's nothing wrong with it. I love it. It's like, again, like I could not see myself doing anything else. Yeah. But it was cool to actually be creative and to just come up with some ideas and like exercise my brain that way. Sure. So I hadn't done it since college.
Well, really. I know by the time people hear this, it's going to be 2018. It'll be dropping in the first week of 2018. So with that in mind, like, do you have, I don't know, 3 to 5 things in your mind that like, okay, 2018, I have goals. Like, do you have goals for this year?
Yeah, I would really like to, like, I really want to like start doing more treatments. Okay. And like knowing Kristen, if like any of her bands need anything, or if she knows anyone, whatever. I want to start doing more of that stuff. I want to get my hands dirty on like directing like my own short film projects. Right. Because I have a roommate. One of my roommates is an editor, and the other one's a writer director. So I have people that want to do stuff, but we've just never done anything because we're all so freaking busy. You work 12 to 14, sometimes even 18 hours a day. Sure. And you come home and you're just like, kill me. Yeah, and if you have any free days, you want to be doing other stuff. Yeah, you have to actually do bills and do your health insurance and like normal people's stuff, and you have to find time for it. Right. When you're on set, you can't be on your phone all day. You can't be at your computer all day. Sometimes if you're working like in the office or whatever, you have a little bit more of a luxury, but you're fucking going all day. Right. I want to do that. So if I'm not doing like treatments for Fearless Records or, whatever, I want to do some of my own stuff, and even just like little skits. I want to get a YouTube page going. Yes. I want to get like a group of people, like followers. Isn't that a weird word? It's just followers.
Yeah, I don't like to use it. I use like people that are in like a community. Like I'm a part of a weight loss community. A lot of people listening to this found me through there. And I don't even claim it to be my community, but it's just like I just call them like my friends. Yeah. Like I hate to say followers.
Yeah, isn't that such an asshole?
Who the fuck am I? Yeah, like you're following me.
Fuck off.
I'm not Jesus Christ. Come and follow me. I hate that word. Yeah, I don't like that word.
So friends.
Yeah,
I want to get an audience. Like I want to be able to tell my story to people that can either relate to my story or that can learn from my story, or
this is a hell of a start right here.
Yeah, it's a great start.
You got to link this up, man. Show some people like, hey, this is what I went through right here.
I'm gonna do it.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I YouTube is a big goal for me. I definitely want to do it more in 2018 for sure. But no, that's great. And I will say this in closing. I think what you've done so far is amazing, and going more into detail with it. I mean, I kind of just get like the Cliff's Notes versions from my wife. You know, she'll say, "Oh, Jade's in this and this," and like when you leave here, when you go back to LA, like you're still in the middle of something, so you have like work right now or whatever, basically.
Yeah, I'm working on Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. I'm not aware of it.
It's a Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh, well, look at you. Look at you, cuz. So I will say this in closing to you. I think what you're doing is amazing. I'm super proud of you. This is not the first time you've heard me say this, but I'll say it here. Just how proud I am of you, what you're doing. When I go on like my page and I talk about the weight loss, and I'm talking about the patience, the consistency, the hard work, the loving yourself, the hard work always wins. You're living that shit, and I love that.
Oh.
I love it.
Well, I think for maybe chapter 3 or 4 in your journey, you should start to focus maybe on people like me, maybe in the industry that like I've put on like 50 pounds since I've been working in this crazy industry.
Okay.
From stress, from having like really long work hours where I can't like after, you know,
sure.
I don't know how you guys do it. Like I'm so proud of you because
well, thank you.
Being able to go to work and still like make it to the gym every single time that you tell yourself you're going to go to the gym. I tell myself on a daily basis, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. And that doesn't happen.
Well, do your hours change though, day to day?
No.
They're the same hours.
They're long as shit every day.
Yeah.
Every single
day. But I mean,
day.
like, do you start at the same time every day?
No.
That kind of thing. So it varies. I mean, how the hell can you make a plan?
It's hard. So that's, I'm making a goal for you to help us.
Okay.
Help the
the
other part of the weight loss community that...
That's why I put everything out there, because I hope that it helps somebody. Like, I don't know who, you know, if somebody reads or watches something that I do, if it helps them, great. That's why this is the only reason I put it out there.
Well, you actually did help me.
Okay.
I lost 20 pounds this year.
No shit.
And
high five. Boom.
And you want to know why?
Why?
Was because I saw my cousin
getting
out there every single day. And I would follow you on Instagram, and I always follow your stories, and I watch all your videos.
Well, thank you.
And I was like, damn, Garrett's out there doing it. And, like, you were seeing, like, all these progress. I got, like, a trainer, and I did it for, like, 3 months, and he put me on, like, this whole thing or whatever. I lost 20 pounds, but I was gaining, like, I was, like, fucking strong as shit. I was, like, squatting at, like, 270.
Okay.
And
now
that's
you're over
like,
my head a little bit.
Well, like when you do a squat, right? You put 270 pounds on your shoulders and squat that up. Like that much weight. Like I was like,
wow.
And I could barely do like 40 pounds when I started with him. And so I was seeing that progress in myself, but he's just so expensive, but he's amazing.
Yes.
But he's just too expensive for me because I'm poor. But you got me back in the gym, and I hadn't been in the gym. I've been paying for the gym, but I wasn't going. And I was like, you know what? Gary's out there making a big change in his life. I want to make a change in my life for my health and all that stuff. And when I wasn't doing the gym, I was like, because I kind of like slowly faded out because things started picking up at work. Yeah. Obviously. And like my life and stuff, like where I lost a roommate, so I had to get a new roommate, and it was like getting all of that like situated and all that stuff. It I think stressed me out way more than it should have. But
well, obviously you've got to make sure you've got a stable living situation. I mean,
but it shouldn't be an excuse. Like I think it was an excuse, but I need to get back in there. But no, you like helped me lose 20 pounds. I was like every day I was checking in on what you were doing, checking in on your progress, and I know you're making such a huge change in other people's lives, and I'm one of them. You know, I mean,
thank you. I mean, that means a lot.
I gave up for the holidays, but
me too. I just posted this on Instagram on Sunday, but I gained like 8 pounds when I was without.
Oh, my that's different.
Well, no, I between the holidays and being injured, missing a week, then coming back and like trying to figure out, okay, I'm working out now, but I'm still kind of eating a little shitty, like it's a process. But and back on program.
Yeah, and you're always gonna have those ups and downs, and like I know we're like trying to close up. I did Weight Watchers, and I lost like 40 pounds very healthily, like very healthily. healthily.
Healthy.
I wasn't like starving myself or anything. I was eating all my points and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then I straight up plateaued for like months. And I was like, no, like I'm like just like 10 pounds away from my goal weight.
Yeah.
And if I don't eat any more, then I will actually be starving myself. Like I will actually like feel very hungry. And so I would do that. And I still wasn't losing anything. And I was like, God damn it. I'm like starved every day. And like, I'm not losing anything. And I think I just like kind of fell off the wagon. I was like,
Okay.
if I'm not going to lose anything, then there's no point. But there is a point.
Yes.
Because I should have stayed on it. But Weight Watchers actually really helped me a lot. I still even like calculate things in my head. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But I'm just so proud of you. And you're doing such a good job. And I know you're really making a huge difference in a lot of people's lives, as well as your own.
I'm not done yet.
You're completely different. You're probably like where you were when I first met you like 10 years ago.
Probably, yeah. Probably close to that. It's probably
That's
close.
nuts.
Yeah. I'm maybe slightly smaller because now I can fit into XL shirts. Back then I was in like 2 or 3 XL.
What?
Yeah.
Gary in the house.
Getting smaller. You won't be able to find me. But to bring it all back around, I'm super proud of you. When we talked like, I don't know, a week or two ago, you were like, I don't know, like I'm down to do your podcast. Like, what are we going to talk about? I have nothing to talk. Now you got me messing with the mats on the table. I've been watching you twist the mats. We're like, I don't know, like what's interesting to talk about. You've got like this whole inspiring story, like, and I agree with you. You should go out and tell people this story because you can help people that are probably where you're at or where you were, in school, like wondering what's next. What do I do next? Like, you could be like the how to, like, here's how I did this. Think about it like this. Like, I don't know. I mean, you could start a whole YouTube series. You can go big on Instagram and all kinds of stuff. It's a whole world of potential. Yeah. You never know who is watching. This is what I've learned. You never know who's watching what you're doing, and you never know who you're helping out or inspiring because sometimes people don't tell you. Mm. They don't like to tell you. Like, I get messages from people, but then there are people that I feel like probably are getting value, but they just don't tell you because maybe they're just nervous or shy or they just don't want to say anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You've seen a lot. You've been a lot. And even though you're still a work in progress, I think we're all still works in progress. We're not really, unless we're like Steven Spielberg, who's happy where he's at. But like we're all work in progress. We're all working to get where we want to be. But even so, you have several years of experience that I think would be valuable to a lot of people. And I always encourage over, to document things. That's what I've learned from Gary Vaynerchuk. Document over create. Mm-hmm. Document that journey of getting there. People love to come along for the ride.
Yeah.
So I think you could add a lot of value in that world.
Yeah,
and keep it real in that. So I want to thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me today. We've talked for like 2 hours now.
Damn.
Once I edit it down, all the bathroom breaks, it'll probably be like $1.45. Probably be $1.45, but thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you for having me. Did you hear that? Thank you for having me.
Yes. Now I'll hit the stop button.